Hi, Jill. Hi, everyone. All right, guys, we'll get started in 2 minutes. We'll let everyone load in here. I'm going to place everyone on mute so that you don't have to worry about any of your background noise. I see lots of new faces and names. This is great. Okay, can you guys all hear me okay? Thumbs up, yes? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started because I am so excited to have you guys hear from Lisa Holman this afternoon, and she's taken a sneaky little break out of her work day and wanted to make sure that we could capture her while she had time. For those of you guys that are brand new to the call, I see a lot of new names and faces. My name is Susan. I am one of your upline supports in this doTERRA family, and this is our 4th call as a group of new people getting started on their business journey, and I love pouring belief and education into people that are getting started with this business, because this will be my 4th year building a doTERRA business, and it has been such an incredible blessing in my life, and it has brought incredible people into my my community and circle of inspiration. And I'm so excited for those of you guys that are here on this call. And today we're going to be talking about leveraging the Begin program that has been created for us by our upline Ange Peters. And so what I love about the Begin program is that it is almost entirely self-directed, and it actually timed up really perfectly. Lisa was going to talk with us a couple of weeks ago on a call, and the timing didn't work out. And I'm actually really glad that that happened, because I think that her journey so far to executive has been a lot to do with completely, oh, Annalise can't hear me. Can everyone else hear me? Yeah, okay. A lot of her journey has been completely of the ownership of taking the belief that what she does in her business is completely up to her, and that this is a business model where there's a little bit of hand holding, but the majority of it is what you guys want to create with your vision and your desire to help others. So I want to respect Lisa's time sneaking out here to be with us, and I'm going to pass it over for her, just for her to share with you guys what her journey has been like the last few months. She has a million reasons why this business couldn't work for her, and she is making it work. So I'm hoping that her story will touch and resonate with some of you guys, and we'll jump into learning about the Begin program after. So I'll unmute you here, Lisa. Okay, you should be good.
Can you hear me? Okay. I have my headphones in.
Can you guys hear everyone? Thumbs up? Yep. Okay, perfect.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. As Susan said, my name is Lisa Holman, and I do have some notes here, so I did want to be prepared and organized with this call today. So I will be reading from some of my notes. But first of all, I just wanted to thank Susan for believing in me and for the constant support. Any personal development expert will tell you to find a good mentor. And in my opinion, Susan encompasses that duty to the fullest. So as most of you may remember, I was supposed to do this call, I was supposed to do this call about 3 weeks ago and had to cancel at the very last minute. My kids seem to have this sixth sense about them whenever I have plans after they go to bed, and that night was definitely no exception. So thank you, Susan. I received no guilt and only complete understanding. I've been in your shoes before from Susan. So that stressful situation for me served as yet another reminder that I am on the right path. I also wanted to say thank you to all the other girls that have opened up and shared their stories on these calls. These calls come at the perfect time for me as I take this next step in my journey. And I am inspired by anyone that's brave enough to share their story, especially live like this. So thank you. I always have big takeaways from everyone. For example, when Kaz spoke about the mentor call that she had with Ange, and just how she was getting a little caught up in comparing herself to everyone. And that comment that really just looking at her own kids and that they believed in her. And other than that, like really what else mattered. So that hit home for me because I'm definitely guilty of getting caught up in a million things, little things, and losing sight of what's in front of me. So thank you. So getting to my story next. So for me, my story really began on May 11th, 2014. So almost 3 years ago when I gave birth to my premature identical twin boys at 27 weeks, and it just so happened to be Mother's Day. So I spent the first 3 months of my mat leave in the hospital with them here in London. They had to be airlifted in 2 separate helicopters as they decided to arrive when I was in my hometown for my baby shower. So they were delivered in a hospital that is not equipped to deal with preemies and that definitely is not equipped to deal with twins. So it was quite a chaotic situation. And as those helicopters took off, Jake, my son Jake, went first, and Hank was about half an hour behind him. I was scared and I was worried and I was very afraid. How could this possibly be happening to me? I thought. This is the point I believe my adrenaline kicked in and got me through what was yet to come. So 7 weeks into my mat leave, my mom became gravely ill from pancreatic cancer, and at 8 weeks, she passed away. So I had to be away from my babies for 10 days. During this time, I also got mastitis, a massive breast infection that was so bad I had to be on antibiotics. I was still required to pump, even though I was lucky to get a couple of drops in a matter of a half hour. I remember how painful it was every time someone hugged me at the funeral. That put a jolting stop to any hope I ever had of breastfeeding my boys. 6 months into my mat leave, my husband's company closed and he lost his job. Not long after, my dog had a massive knee injury and required a very costly surgery. So finally, 12 months into my mat leave, in May 2015, right before I was going back to work, I attended my first essential oils class with Susan. My world was opened up to doTERRA when I needed it most. Can you still hear me? All right, so I was a complete newbie and I had never used an essential oil in my life. doTERRA was my first and only experience. The main focus during this first almost year of using my oils was really just on taking care of my own mental and physical health as I navigated becoming a working mom and having 2 kids in daycare and my husband starting a new job. So my oils did play a huge part in that role, and eventually I also started using them on my kids after they started daycare and had really good success with them. And after that, so fast forward about a year of just using the oils myself and keeping pretty quiet about it all, not really saying anything to anybody, but knowing that I was really liking what was happening for myself personally. So in about March, about a year ago, the switch flipped, and to be honest, it was the 200 PV promo last March that caught my attention. And initially, it caught my attention initially and really motivated me as I was loving getting just the free products and earning a whole bunch of more points. Because of course by then we were at the 30%. So this gave me the chance to start using more products and to see the benefits of doTERRA beyond the oils. So just trying a lot of other products. People around me were becoming very curious and interested in the products, and it felt easy to recommend something that was having such a positive impact on me and in my own house. So I basically from there just started my own private little Facebook group, nothing fancy, just a simple place that I could post one message and reach quite a few people. So from there, it took me a long time to get clear on the business. Sharing was easy for me, but the business definitely scared me. Regardless of those feelings, something kept pulling me in that direction, and I ended up attending the wellness business training event in London last August. So that was the last Saturday of the summer, and my husband had already had plans, so I had to go to a lot of work to get there. However, as we've all heard Simon Chan say, most aha moments do happen at events, and that was definitely the case for me. That was the day that I made the decision that I was going to build a business. So it did take a couple of months after that, and I was talking myself a lot of like negative talking and sort of just thinking of every reason why I shouldn't do this. But there was still that pull that was there every day. And so I finally took the leap of faith and hosted my first class in November. So since then, that really was the shift for me. And what's happened in my life since then is amazing. And each day I just continue to feel more clear on my vision, my why, and my future. So just a few things that have helped me grow personally and to just slowly be able to build this business. I've just listed a few things here. So for me, what works is I set 10 daily intentions. And these small habits, such as ensuring I get enough sleep, exercising daily, and waking up early, are anchors to my success. Just a second here. Sorry about that. Can you still hear me? So these are the anchors to my success, and they guide me to ensure that I'm taking care of myself, my family, and my business in that particular order. I communicate my personal values and my business goals to my husband constantly. I tell him everything, even when he has no idea what I'm talking about, I tell him. So this way he feels included, and he never makes me feel guilty when I need to go for a workout or whatever is required. Basically, I would say don't expect them to figure this out on their own, because they won't. You just need to be super clear. Next, I utilize every spare second listening to training, any podcast, and self-development. And basically this means I use this time during my workouts, in the car, on my lunches, and most recently I bought a Bluetooth speaker for the shower so that I can even take advantage of that time. And I ask for help. So when you're clear on your goals and you're in action, it excites everyone around you, whether it's taking the boys, whether it's someone taking the boys for me so I can teach a class, or my dad dropping off oils for me. Everyone is in the loop on how much this means to me. I am realistic with my goals, and I do practice being gentle with myself when things fall through. So for example, 3 weeks ago, So I am definitely my own worst critic, and this is probably the most challenging thing for me. So this requires constant self reminders to myself to be okay when things don't work out. Creating a small monthly vision board. So things have changed so much for me month to month as I've grown, and I found this very comforting and rewarding to look back to see my achievements I made when I conquer goals, especially the stretch goals. And I also like to set a daily reminder to document 5 small daily wins. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is very common advice you'll receive, but it's definitely helpful, especially when you have those bad nights or those moments when you feel like nothing's working. There's always something that you can do. And I always carry a journal or a notebook with me everywhere I go, along with my organizer. And I just take full advantage, and I never lose a thought. And I'm always just making notes of whatever's coming to my mind. So just wrapping up here, the knowledge and growth that I've personally experienced over the past year as a result of doTERRA has changed me. It's helped me to see that the struggle that I faced on my maternity leave happened for a reason, and that I shouldn't feel sorry for myself, that I don't feel sorry for myself, and that without that, I wouldn't be the person who I am today. It's allowed me to see that living through, overcoming, and thriving past those dark moments, that I can help others do the same. It's allowed me to never take anything for granted, to appreciate every moment in my life, and to go deep into the true meaning of gratitude. doTERRA has helped me simplify my life, my home, and my friendships. It's made it easier to say no without guilt because I am so clear on my vision. It's taught me that self-care goes far beyond a pedicure, and it's given me hope that I can be successful and feel fulfilled. Lastly, I just wanted to say that if I can do this, any one of you can do this. So stay in your own lane, and if something doesn't feel right to you, then it's not going to feel right to your audience. So thank you for listening to my story.
Oh, Lisa, thank you so much. If you guys have seen me post before, Lisa's one of those rare gems that I have the pleasure to mentor, who I learn from every time she speaks. I jotted down a whole bunch of notes here that I felt were very relevant to those of you guys who are starting in your business. So, Lisa, if you have to head back to work, I just want to say thank you so much.
I am not. I'm going to be on the call.
Okay, perfect. Okay. It's really not easy, right, to share our hardships and be able to look at some of the experiences that we've been dealt with in our life, and to figure out what that's supposed to mean for us, and who we're meant to help based on our experiences. And what I love about Lisa is that she has allowed this business opportunity to be a teacher to her. 1 second, I'm going to mute everyone here. Okay, can you guys hear me still? She's allowing it to teach her so many things. And when you're first getting started in a network marketing business, there can be so many different ranges of emotions, and she really did touch on a lot of them. One of the things that she mentioned was having attended a local event that happened last year at the end of August. And the hour before we were on this call, I was on with our Premier and Above leaders and talked about the fact that so many of us have these I'll call it secret passions, or things that we're really lit up about, that we think there's nobody else crazy to love what I love, right? And so we feel afraid to kind of share our voice and share our message and speak what it is that we're passionate about. And then you have this opportunity sometimes to get connected to a new community. We'll use doTERRA as an example, and you realize that, wow, there's all these other people that are lit up and excited about things that I'm lit up and excited about too. And you start to feel this like you've sort of found your tribe, and then you start thinking bigger, and you think, wow, who are the people out there that I haven't yet connected with and met with, and I can start to flood my own community with some of these like-minded people. And that's one of the biggest gifts that this business has brought me, is all of the people that there's no way I would have had an opportunity to connect or meet with them. Lisa being a good example of that, had I not decided to embrace this business and how it allows us to network and build a community and get really clear on the types of people that we're meant to attract and serve. I really love that you stay connected with your goals and you carve out time and you keep people in the loop on what you're working on. And there's often a big difference in the beginning between treating a business like this. You'll maybe hear this if you're listening to things in the network marketing industry, but with something like doTERRA or a network marketing business, if you treat it like a hobby, it pays you like a hobby, and hobbies often cost money, right? And so in those beginning stages, you will feel like you're putting out money. You're building your LRP orders to build your oil collection. It's maybe going a little bit slow in terms of sharing with people, and you may stop and think like, gosh, this business is costing me money and I'm not making anything back yet. But then there's that switch where if you treat it like a business, it has an opportunity to pay you like a business. But what I kind of find resistance with that is that not too many of us are coming from a place of having prior business experience. So we say, treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Well, what if you've never run a business? And what if your background has never been in business? What I want you guys to think about is at least treating this with respect and vision in terms of whatever it is you're feeling lit up about in the early stages of your business. For a lot of you, it may be, you've been, working in a job that doesn't excite you, and you just, you're constantly surrounded by people that don't really light you up and inspire you. And this is your opportunity to find those people and connect with people that inspire you so that you can start to flood your day-to-day with that kind of people. For some of you, maybe you've been staying at home with kids, or not had an opportunity to make connections with people that are in the same stage of life as you. This can be that opportunity to do it. For some of you, maybe you've got a really amazing skill set from jobs that you've worked at in the past, and you feel like those have kind of gone to waste. Again, another cool opportunity for you to be able to plug in what you've been taught and praised for in your past life and plug it into this business opportunity. Whatever part is feeling clear to you right now, leverage that and make sure the people in your life that might require you to lean on for support are part of that. Lisa mentioned keeping her husband in the loop on what it is she's learning and what her business is about. And although it may not make sense to him and it, might be words and things he's not familiar with, if there are people that you need in your life to support you right now because you might be out of your house a couple of nights a week to do classes, or you might want an opportunity to jump on a call, or you're feeling like you need to go attend an event that's being offered, chances are you're going to need to dig into your support system. So they kind of need to be a part of your goals and why you're doing this so that they can have that buy-in to what you're doing as well. And the other thing that I kind of wanted to pop out, which I love about mentoring and speaking to people that are newly in this business, is that the same kind of doubts and things that you start to experience, that's human nature stuff, and it will continue to pop up and show up no matter what rank or how large you decide to go with your influence with this doTERRA business. Like I said, I was on a call before this with our premiers and above, and for those of you guys that don't know where I'm at right now, I've been a diamond now for about 2.5 years, and the next leg of my business that I'm focusing on is blue diamond. And no, it doesn't matter what rank or how long you've been building this business. All of the same activities and things that are required to get your business started in the first place are still required of you when you hit diamond, when you are building to blue diamond, even if you're building to presidential diamond. We still need to be out there taking care of people with our essential oils, making time for our business, being very self-directed with how much time and love we're giving to nurture this. All of those same things repeat no matter where you're at in your journey. So I love staying connected to what you guys are experiencing because I am still experiencing those very same things in my business as well. So what I wanted to do today is to open up our Begin program. If you guys can pop into the chat box for a second, there's a little balloon that says chat at the bottom, and just let me know whether you are currently doing the Begin program, or if you haven't, just let me know. Are you familiar with it, not familiar with it, using it? I just want to kind of get a feel for this particular group and who is currently plugged into the Begin program. I might actually need to stop the share there for a sec. see. Not familiar, familiar, not familiar, not too familiar. Just hearing about it today. Okay, perfect. All right, so going back to why I was excited to have Lisa speak today is because she has been a real prime example of somebody who has grabbed a hold of the piece to the puzzle in building this business, that much of this is self-directed. For those of us that are starting to shift out of a thought process or a daily workings of going to work for somebody else and having to do something because somebody expects you to show up and you won't get paid unless you do, and maybe you punch a time clock when you show up and you punch a time clock when you leave, and you are starting to shift into looking at what it would be like to build a network marketing business. Well, there is literally nobody there waiting for you to punch your time clock when you sit down at 7 o'clock at night to, post something on Facebook or schedule a class or follow up with somebody that you sampled last week. There's nobody there. It's only us. And so this Begin program has been really, really geniusly designed for you to be able to take a business blueprint and completely grab a hold of whatever you want to experience out of the first 3 months in building your business. If you've been around longer than 3 months and you haven't tapped into the Begin program, that's totally cool. This is here for people that are self-starters that can go with the mentality that you all have an incredible upline who has introduced you to this business. Some of you may be here because somebody who casually shares their oils shared them with you, and you're starting to see an opportunity for this to fit in your life. So regardless of who introduced you, you're going to have a really solid silver, gold, platinum, or diamond upline that you can plug into for some specific one-on-one mentoring. I just jotted down this morning before I jumped on, we've got 19 silvers on our team, 10 golds, 3 platinums, and 3 diamonds now. So this is a really, really well-supported community of people that have, I'm just going to say, beaten the odds and shown that there are no excuses. There are no reasons why this cannot work for anybody in any situation if you're willing to treat it as, Lisa came on here and shared that there are always 5 minutes, 10 minutes, pockets of time where you can start to make it a priority if you're looking to design a life that's different than what you're living right now. And knowing that that takes time, this is a really good program for you guys to tap into and leverage and spend some time as you're in the beginning stages of sharing your oils and learning. Tap into this because it's completely laid out for you to be able to build upon your knowledge and where you're at in your journey of starting to be visible with people about your oils and your education, and starting to kind of leverage yourself as somebody that they can learn from and people that you can influence. So I'm really just going to kind of scroll through. I think this is about 38 pages long, but wanted to give you guys a good look at what's here. If you happen to be the mentor, so let's say you're still at the early stages of building and somebody decides that they're excited to do this with you. Maybe it comes as a surprise, or maybe you have decided that I'm doing this and I'm going to talk to 2 of my best girlfriends and I know that they're looking for something and we're going to partner together and do this as a team. Or maybe you have been sharing your oils for a while and you've started to be visible, and all of a sudden you have somebody who enrolled as just a user start to say, hey, I'm kind of interested in sharing my oils too. Can you teach me to do what you're doing? And a lot of times in the beginning, this is where we freeze and we go, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to lead people. Lean into those feelings, and you can either shy away, and chances are those people will either shy away as well, or they may reach up above you and connect with somebody, or this is your opportunity to say, hey, this business is giving me a sign right now that it is working the way it is meant to work, which is we have this luxury of building this business that's built on a foundation of solid customers. We have 80 to 85% of our organizations that are made up of just people who love their oils. And then there's this little portion that decides they want to share, and another little portion that decides they want to really become leaders and caretakers of a community and develop themselves. And so we want to be able to be in a boat where we're taking really good care of our customers, but be prepared to guide the ones that say, hey, I think I would like to do what you're doing. So if you find yourself in that boat, you're going to want to be really comfortable with all of the content of the Begin program, but just know at the very beginning here on like page 2 or 3, there's actually a mentor checklist so that you could start to kind of guide somebody through how you would help them get started in their business. And it's totally okay if you're like a week or a month ahead of that person in your own journey. The whole point is creating a sense of community and making people feel safe and valued. And I mentioned this again on the call the hour before, but people follow people who know where they are going. And chances are you were drawn to this business opportunity by somebody who is very visible and sure about this path that they're on and the way this business, intertwines in probably an already very busy lifestyle, but you were drawn to them because you felt safe in their guidance and their leadership. And so that is what you want to be able to duplicate for others as well. You want them to feel safe to raise their hand and say, hey, I think I'd like to do a class. Would you be willing to come and help me? Hey, I'm kind of interested in learning about how I can make a little bit of commission. Can you explain how all of that works? So if this is the first call that you're tapping into, on week 1, all the recordings are posted for these calls, but on week 1, I kind of gave you guys an overview of my story and why I really believe in the network marketing business model. On week 2, we talked about how and where to start showing up once you've decided that this is something you're passionate about and you want to start sharing your essential oil experiences and knowledge with other people, how and where to start doing that. Last week, we talked about our compensation plan, and I put a pretty big emphasis on the fact that if you're not clear on aspects of how we get paid and how this business model works, you're going to get really stumbled up when it comes to leading others and having them have clarity around that. So this, again, is stuff that falls on you as the business owner to dig into the tools that are here, watch, learn, read, chat with your upline, make sure you have clarity on it, because that's, again, the gift that this business has is for us to be able to duplicate what we know, love, and understand in other people. So this Begin Mentor checklist will kind of give you a guide on the first few calls or connections that you would have with somebody. And as you guys start to guide and lead others, I'm just going to assume that if you're on these calls, you're interested in building an organization for yourself. Right now, your vision may be, I would just love to get to elite, or I would love to be a premier and kind of have a couple of shares that I'm working with. Whatever that looks like, if you've decided, then chances are you're interested in duplicating yourself. Hey, Marco. Okay. I apologize if there's any background noise. I've got a little one homesick with me today. Okay, so this here, there's just kind of a little welcome message from Ange. This here gives you sort of an overview of what our community is like. So she kind of describes what some of us may be feeling. Things like having a heart for serving others, honoring your body, a great respect for the earth, wanting a business to weave into your life in an exciting way. This bottom one here, wanting to be surrounded and supported by a team of people who are already rocking it. We have, if you guys, again, are new to this group and new to learning about Ange Peters and just maybe starting to get to know the upline who is going to be mentoring you directly, we have, I think, one of the most unique, highly sought after teams, communities, cultures in all of doTERRA. Ange is still one of the top enrollers in the company, and she has an incredible story to teach about how she has built this business. And for those of you guys that follow her and watch things, one of the biggest things that I have taken away and have tried to learn to duplicate myself is to live in a beautiful state, and to know that ultimately that is what people are watching when they choose to align themselves with somebody who can educate them about essential oils and possibly lead them down a path of designing a life that is more in line with the things that they want. And I would say most of us are craving more time freedom and more financial freedom. And so we love our oils and we love sharing them with other people. And we realize that this is a really perfectly designed business model to be able to bring the two of those together. Okay, so a little bit of stats here on learning more about network marketing. So again, I touched on this on our first call, but there's some good content here for you to dig into. top picks for product knowledge. So there's some great websites here that are linked up. And something that I likely mentioned on one of our first calls is that we have a never-ending source of places to find information, people to follow, resources to learn from. And I remember for the first several months in my own journey thinking, my gosh, there is so many different things that I can tap into. I don't even know what to focus on, what to follow. It's really easy to kind of bounce around. What I would say is pick one source that has been laid out together and stick with it and follow it. So this Begin program is a perfect example of that. If you're somebody who likes something very in-depth, very content-rich, the Begin program will be a great resource for you, and it will be branded very specifically to our Whole Fit team. If you're somebody who wants something simple, quick, not too rich with content, then you might like the one moment please. You might like the sharesuccess.com website, because it will be kind of quick hit things that you can tap into if you're very, very short on time. If you're somebody that's got more time to dig in and read and you want a fuller understanding and you like lots of detail, you'll probably want to stick with the Begin program. She references right here that this training is packed with a lot of value. And okay, so you're going to be able to walk yourself through Begin preparation. So there's checklists in here, which for some of you guys, you may be already scooting past a lot of this, right? Learning how to use your back office, getting yourself connected to the right Facebook groups that have been built for you by Whole Fit, by myself, by your upline, getting things in your position so that you can start to sample your oils. You need to be ready for business in order to open for business. And again, I've mentioned this on past calls, but if you're intentional about building this, then you're going to be intentional about leaving your house with oils on you at all times. You're going to be intentional about looking for opportunities to open your mouth and mention to somebody what you do, or that you might have a natural solution that you can offer them. So having things like samples and little usage guides on hand, those are the kind of things that you're not going to want to run out of, because they're the gateway to you being able to speak up and give somebody an experience. You'll want to be really familiar with the Loyalty Rewards program, and you'll want to make sure that you have supplies on hand to start teaching classes. Now, this is what I'll say about having an item like Class in the Box, or utilizing our class teaching toolkit, which will be plugged in here. I think I'm going to have to move because my battery's going to die. You will find that you'll be really excited to let people know you teach classes and that you have an opportunity to educate them if you own Class in a Box. And if you have familiarized yourself with the class teaching toolkit and you know where to print off class teaching sheets, if you're, again, armed for success, you'll be ready to open your doors for business and want to find people to teach classes for. One sec, guys. Okay, I never seem to have an outlet close enough to where I need to sit with my computer. Sorry about that. Okay, so you'd have samples, you'd have Class in a Box, or you'd be familiar with where you're going to print off class teaching sheets. Prep worksheets. So this is the kind of stuff where you're going to want to tap into your personal strengths that are going to be a blessing for you in building this. Having a chat with your heart, figuring out what your product story is. So some of you may really stick with a product story. You may have had an experience initially with your oils that blew the lid off of your interest and your belief in what essential oils can offer other people. And you may build your entire business strictly off of your product story. In my case, we didn't have a really compelling product story. We were a pretty healthy family. I leveraged my essential oils quite a bit in the first 2 years for the emotional benefits. What I really loved was just having natural, reliable tools in my household to be able to take care of my family. So for me, my story is really more directed around the business because I was really in particularly looking for a network marketing business model. And because I found one that just naturally aligned with my interest in taking care of my family from a natural standpoint, that's generally the story that I weave in and out of when I'm talking to people and sharing at classes. So you'll have one or the other. There's some links here for helping you understand your back office. So quick 2-minute videos, lingos and acronyms. This is irrelevant. The share program doesn't exist anymore, so you're not going to spend any time here. Again, we did a call on the compensation plan, but when there's things that you're not clear on, here is your opportunity to dig in and have a better understanding with links that will expand. If you're building a business, chances are you're doing it because you're interested in an additional stream of income or possibly replacing the income that you're currently making and having it come from a source that's more inspiring to you. So get a good understanding of how you make your money. The different pathways in doTERRA. So if you haven't attended a class yet, or maybe you have, you'll kind of be familiar that we give people the option at the end of a class that they can live doTERRA, share doTERRA, or build doTERRA. And we don't spend a lot of time talking about the business opportunity, but it is a key piece of closing up your classes to let people know where, like what category they can kind of find themselves in, and to know that it can change at any time. And if they're interested in building as you do, that they can hook up with you for a chat after the class or at a later date. This here is going to actually talk you through how to enroll your first person. So you'll find that you will, as you're building businesses, you'll have people that ask you questions all the time that there is an answer for if they have leveraged the tools that have been created. And I find myself in that same situation where I get questions asked of me all the time that I actually have to stop and go dig up the answer. And then I say to myself, if I had to dig up the answer, I'm not teaching somebody anything if they could have dug up the answer for themselves as well. So knowing that there is always going to be an answer that can be found for you, you'll want to save your chat times with your mentors to be stuff that's really specific, stuff where you're sharing experiences and being able to talk about where you're at in your business, how they can support you, and not using up that valuable time for stuff that you could have dug in and found an answer for. So again, that's why you're going to want to be familiar with this program, because you'll want to know, okay, I know that I don't know how to explain this, but I know where to go to find to get the answer. This section here of toolkits, I leverage on a weekly basis because there's always somebody that is asking me a question or that I'm connecting with where I'm like, talking about pregnancy and kids, I'm going to send them this toolkit. Talking with somebody who's really concerned with oil safety, I'm going to send them this toolkit. Again, it's all been brilliantly designed and packaged for us, so tap into that. Don't reinvent the wheel, as Lisa said. Know that there are things that are here designed for you to just quickly pull out and plug somebody into. All the stuff that we have access to. So we have a monthly call with Ange for the entire team. I'll have these calls. Chances are your upline that introduced you to this business will either have a call themselves that you can tap into, or they'll have somebody that they are being mentored by that you can tap into. On Wednesdays at 12 p.m., Ange does a live Periscope. So Periscope is an app, so she live streams through Periscope and the Facebook group. And it's an awesome opportunity to just kind of hear on the fly Q&A. Customer service. So a lot of times, something that you have a question about when it comes to a customer or somebody on your team, a lot of times it can be solved by hopping on the online chat with customer service. One sec, guys. Yes.
Can you get the thing down?
Not until I'm done. Pretty soon, okay? So again, utilize our amazing customer service system because the live chat is easy to hop onto, and if it's not the end of the month and it's not a BOGO week, chances are you're not going to wait more than a minute or two to get through to somebody. Just different leadership tools here, and then this is going to break it down into everything that you would want to focus in on that first month that you are building your biz. So thinking about the 3-2-1, so connecting with 3 new people daily, following up with 2, reaching out to 1 person already enrolled. I remember being in the early stages of building, and you would kind of come in into a month where there is some momentum, right? Maybe you did a sample blitz the month before, and now you're getting lots of questions from people who have tried oils, and they're like, tell me again what On Guard does, or what would I use for a headache? And you're just kind of in this mode where you're answering lots of text messages and answering lots of Facebook messages, and you're posting lots of stuff if you've decided to run a Facebook group. And then all of that kind of dries up the next month, and you're not getting the questions anymore, and you sit there and you go, okay, what do I do now in my business? So this is one of those things that's just a good rule of thumb to come back, right? Because we're all busy. We're all going to find that we have these little pockets of time and we want to leverage them, but we're not quite sure like what we're supposed to be doing. Come back to this. Look for 3 new people to connect with. Maybe that means it's just somebody on your Facebook list that you haven't been in touch with in a while, and you're not going to bombard them with a oil message right off the bat, but maybe you're going to like scroll through their Facebook and see what they've been up to and just, shoot them off a message and let them know, hey, that trip you were on looks really cool. Where else did you go? Something that just starts a connection back into motion. So following up with 2 people, if you are constantly providing value, sampling, starting to teach classes, there will always be people that you can follow up with. And reaching out to one person already enrolled. So somebody who's already existing in your customer base that could maybe use a little bit of information about LRP, or you can go into your back office and you can actually see what they've been ordering the last couple of months. Maybe you want to reach out and ask them about a different oil that might be relevant to their ordering needs, or you see that they've been ordering On Guard every month. Well, have they had a chance to check out the rest of the On Guard line? I think I mentioned this again on one of the last calls, but your back office and your customer history really does tell you a relevant, up-to-date story about your business, because you can see what people are ordering. You can take a look at how they're starting to set up their LRP orders. You can provide education around that. There's always a story and always an opportunity for you to provide value based on that. So here's going to be a month 1 checklist, just things that you'd kind of want to, plug through if you're structured and you like a little bit of a to-do list. Things like creating a list of contacts, working on what your why story is, coming up with a way to track your contacts that you're sampling, class teaching toolkit, so making sure that you have class teaching sheets that fit your style and feel comfortable for your vibe, different videos. Okay, so here's some worksheets. So sampling scripts and contact tracking if you're looking for information on that, spreadsheets, compensation plan, working on your why, your contacts, all of that is here for you. All kinds of videos. So if you are, maybe you're not local to the person who introduced you to oils and you just haven't had a chance to get out to a class, you'll want to plug into watching an essential oil intro class. Maybe you're feeling really lost on how to start sampling people. Here's a video for that. How to teach a class. Here's a video for that. Month 2, this is where you're going to kind of dig into again, like building on top of what you're already doing, but looking at the ways that you can start to be a mentor to others, how to get good at closing your classes, following up, sending out welcome emails. So every time we have somebody enroll with us, we have a really nicely designed welcome email that you can either just cut and paste and personalize and send, or you can rewrite. Class teaching sheets. This one here, this would be a good one in the beginning or whenever you start to feel a little bit stagnant, to either screenshot or set as your desktop 6 essential questions for daily success. And while there's going to be so many different aspects of building a network marketing business that come into play from a personal development standpoint, the bulk of your business is always going to come back to these questions. Who will I share oils with today? Who has attended a class that I can follow up with? Who has enrolled that I will help understand LRP? Who is using their oils religiously that I could talk to about the business? Who is building the business that I have an opportunity to support? And what will I read, watch, or listen that will help me grow as a leader? So in the beginning stages, or when you start to feel like you've kind of lost your groove, come back to these 6 questions, post them somewhere, print them somewhere, have them on your desktop. When you're feeling like I'm not sure what I should do next, come back to this. Number 1 will never lead you astray. Who will I share oils with today? Lots of trainings here. I've got oils, now what? Fortune in the follow-up. Here's a recording of Ange teaching a live class. Then month 3, I love this phrase, we are what we consistently do, not what we do every once in a while. This is very true for having success with this business model, because what you do once in a while will build you an organization as a share, where you're maybe earning a little bit of income here and there based on the odd person that's enrolling. But you may find that the people that you enroll kind of disappear on you because you're not really committed to teaching them about LRP. You're not committed to keeping a calendar of activity for yourself full. You're not looking for people to constantly add value to and sample. That's when this kind of starts to look like a hobby, right? You're in it a little bit, you're out of it for a while, you disappear. Know that people are watching. They're looking for those people who are consistently visible when they choose somebody to connect with on an essential oil journey. So that's why I love this, because what you do, it's all about what is happening consistently, right? A month 3 checklist for you guys to go through here. So this is where you're going to look into possibly having your eye on a rank like Elite or Premier, and using a business blueprint or a tracker to be able to help guide you towards hitting that rank. There's a biz heartbeat sheet. So you and your upline who mentors you, or even just for your own reflection right now, if you're kind of on a journey on your own, you can use this biz heartbeat sheet to sort of reflect on what your past month taught you about your business and what it's telling you to do this, coming month. Worksheets in here. So you're going to have access to learn about trade shows and events, juicy diamond tips, strategies to attract builders, everything about LRP, marketing that's all done for you, biz heartbeat sheets, and then videos on how to structure, tips to achieving goals, the law of the harvest, why doTERRA, why network marketing. At this point, once you're a few months into this, that's when you're really wanting to kind of up your belief level on why you have chosen doTERRA as your vehicle, why it is that you have a belief in network marketing, right? This is all stuff that will start to be kind of in your stockpile of what you are sort of loud and proud and confident about, and why somebody would want to align themselves with you as a leader. And there's a begin program recap and just opportunities, endless opportunities to keep your development going. So personal development books that are really popular within our team community. What I generally do is order a lot of these on audio, because I find that I can have more pockets of the day, 15, 20 minutes here and there while I'm in my car to listen to something than I do to actually sit and read. So figure out what's your way of getting things done. Lisa mentioned grabbing a waterproof speaker so that she can listen, if you're in the shower for 10 minutes and you don't have little people banging on your door, 10 minutes of something could set the tone for the whole rest of your day, and how you show up and what you're thinking about and what you're putting out into the universe. So find a way to sneak this in. If you're a reader, go for the books. If you're audio, go for audio. Lots of different calls here. Marco. EOE leaders. So Kyle and Kirsten Kirschbaum, this is their team page. There's daily mentor calls that were recorded years ago by a really successful double presidential upline within our team. And it's like a 20-minute call that you can plug into daily, or you can plow through a bunch of them all at one time. But I would recommend a little bit every day, right? It's that little dose of inspiration every day. These calls are really beneficial. All kinds of stuff that you can tap into. This would be one here that I would recommend watching. This is another presidential, and he talks about remembering what it was like to get that first check of like $12 and why it was worthwhile to stick through. Podcasts that are really popular within this community that will be relevant to your journey and relevant to network marketing and oils. Awesome videos. Here is the Whole Fit Ready Set Rank recognition program. Actually, I think this is outdated. So there's a newer version of that you'll be able to find in the Whole Fit group. So this is the Begin program. What I would say about having a tool like this is that this sets apart the people that want to just kind of dabble in this and share their oils, which I welcome shares. We have an organization filled with people that share, and they make up a great great part of our business, because we need people who just want to share with their hearts and introduce people to essential oils. And the beauty of having a community like we have and having upline support who have developed programs like this is that if you just want to be a sharer, but you want somebody to genuinely have an opportunity to do whatever they want with this business, you have amazing resources to plug them into. Other people's calls that you can plug them into, the Begin program, it's there for you to at least connect them to, and you can remain going at the pace that you wish. There are lots of people who stay at the executive or elite rank that have somebody below them who blows up this huge organization, and they benefit a little bit from that, of course, by having lots of volume. But the true residual income and opportunity to have this work financially for you guys is for you to leverage what's here to help you develop into a leader. And again, if you're new to network marketing and you've only ever worked in a corporate type environment where all you really needed to do was just come in and do your job and show up and punch a clock and, cross off X, Y, and Z, personal development may be a completely whole new world for you, but it is a very important piece of making an industry like this work, because it all comes back on us being self-directed, self-starters, getting over all of the noise that starts to show up in your head that you didn't know existed until you got into an opportunity like this, because it's all on us. And all of a sudden we have to take this gift of the opportunity to lead others, and sometimes that plays head games with us, and it's you'll find that you do so much reflecting and so much analyzing of yourself. And that's where really the hidden gifts are, right? Because you get to develop into this really awesome version of yourself that was always there, that just needed a community and an experience like this to start peeling back the layers. And that it starts to become really rewarding in that sense. So I'm going to spend some time thinking about where I kind of want to go to next with these calls, but I would like to just sort of be recirculating these first 4 weeks, because we'll always be having people, and you guys will constantly be meeting people that are interested in plugging into how this could fit for them. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself where people can't feel like they can jump in and join at any time. So I'm thinking about going back and starting from the beginning, because you guys will, I want you guys to feel supported in welcoming new people onto this journey with you and feeling like you can plug them into something relevant, even if you're not quite feeling ready to be the actual mentor or leader of other people. But what I would like to do is be able to tap into all of these incredible silvers and golds and platinums and diamonds on our team who have been where you guys are, some of them not all that long ago, and have them be sharing each week on here, and just going back and sharing small portions of the first 4 weeks of what we've covered off in this call, and just kind of keeping it fresh, but circulating around those basics, knowing that the Begin program is really where it begins for those of you guys that want to take this and build it, because nobody will build it for you. I posted Angie's doTERRA video in our business group this morning, and I hadn't watched it in a while, and I know there's going to be lots of new faces that aren't really familiar with her story and maybe haven't seen that video either. So if you haven't seen that, just go back a couple of posts in our business group this morning and look for it and watch it. It's 7 minutes long, but it's so impactful, and you'll find that you'll have certain videos and certain things that you'll watch on repeat, and there will always be something different that comes out depending on where you're at personally in your life right now. And the big thing that I took away from watching that again this morning was that the way she talks about nobody being able to build this business in the way that you specifically can. As Lisa shared, so genuinely about her story this morning or earlier on in the call, nobody has had her exact experiences, right? And it will be her exact experiences, no matter how hard or heartbreaking they have been, that shape the lives that she ends up touching through doTERRA. And so this can be a business that can be really distracting when you have so many other people doing things at different paces and in ways that you wish you had the courage or confidence to do. And that can be really, really detrimental to your growth if you get so focused into thinking that what somebody else is doing can't be for you. But it's not meant to be for you. What you have experienced in your life and the reasons that you feel lit up to share your oils is going to be your most unique gift in this business journey if you can keep your blinders on and remember that this is about you attracting the people that you are meant to serve, you're the expert on your life and your experiences. And if you're willing to use those as a learning opportunity to be able to shed some light on somebody who hasn't been able to take a step the way you've been able to take a step, that's such a blessing that this has to offer. So make sure that you watch that and that you take some messages from that, whatever pops out at you today from listening to her, and know that this is a journey that is completely for you. And the programs are there, the people are there to plug into, but there will be nobody here holding your hand or waiting for you to check off on a list. I sat down and I did some follow-up. You got to get good at patting yourself on the back and celebrating the fact that you showed up for you and your vision. So if anybody has any questions, you are welcome to unmute yourself. But as I wait for that, we won't have a call next week because I will be away at the leadership retreat in Long Beach. But we'll be back on the following week. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into our resource of leaders who've been where you guys are and get them to come on each week and share. I'm not sure that we'll be continuing on with 2 times each Tuesday because we set the clocks forward on Sunday, and that means that we get some daylight in the evenings. And I know how refreshing that can feel to people that have been burdened by the winter darkness, and I want to make sure that evenings are free for people to do what they want to do in the spring. So I will likely, I'll think about this, but I'll be likely sticking with a live call in the afternoons and then posting a recording for people that can't hop on. Because generally you've probably got an upline who's still doing things in the evening right now that you may be able to plug into as well. So I just want to thank you guys for being on this afternoon and being willing to take this journey and let it be your teacher. And, starting to be visible with your community is not always easy. And there's a lot to learn about all the different ways that you can do it. But know that the way that your oils have touched you have an opportunity to impact somebody else as well. So when you start to feel like, who am I to speak up and tell somebody about these oils? I mentioned this on the call earlier today with my premiers and above. And I said, there's a big difference between the words courage and confidence. And I had watched a stage talk by another leader in another network marketing company last week. And she really, I loved the way she differentiated those 2 words, right? Because we look at other people and think, wow, they've got all the confidence in the world and that's why this business works for them. Well, she talked about, coming out and talking on stage in front of all of her peers, and she was a top earner and top leader in her company, and she still felt scared to death, sick to her stomach to come out and speak. And so, as I mentioned earlier, these are all human traits that we have, right? They don't just magically disappear when we've achieved our dream rank or built our dream team. That stuff still pops up, but there's a big difference between confidence and just having courage. And so what I said to the group before on the call was, think about the person who had the courage to first open their mouth about essential oils to you, or had the courage to teach a class that you came to, or had the courage to follow up with you. And that's where we have to realize that we have this ability to pay that forward. We need to have courage to follow up with somebody who came to a class, who really seemed excited but didn't enroll. And then we go home and we tell ourselves all these stories why they aren't going to enroll, why they can't enroll, and so we never actually do the follow-up. Well, have the courage to say that these oils have meant something to your household. They will have a meaning for somebody else's household, and you just have to ask the right questions and have the courage to show up and pop back into their lives with a gentle follow-up and an ability to continue to add value so that they too can have the gift of what these oils have offered to you guys. So thank you for being on. Thank you so much, Lisa. I don't know if she's still on. Yep, there she is. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. We will be on again tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you have somebody on your team that didn't have a chance to join us this afternoon, Lisa will be back tonight. And I hope you guys all have a great afternoon. Take care.